Hormozy, Gary Vee, they have clip farms where it's little kids on the internet clipping, hey, if you get 1,000 views, I'll pay you X amount per video that gets 1,000 views. In the beginning, until you get to 10,000 followers, you need to talk about the same thing every day in different iterations every day.
All right, with me today, I have Sidney Tarver. He is the CEO of People's First Content, and he turns entrepreneurs into content machines that print money and freedom. Sidney, how are you feeling today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for sharing your platform with me. I'm feeling great.
Awesome, and thank you for that positive energy. Now, we'll get to the content and how you got to that, what you're doing today. But first of all, let's start with the beginnings. How did you start with, your journey, and how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, growing up, I was an athlete. My son of a football coach. My dad was a football coach, so I grew up playing football from sixth grade to the NFL. Um, Excelled at sports. That was my vehicle during my youth as a way to get out of my city and see the world. So football was my early vehicle. I played for the Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars, went to college at Tennessee State University in Nashville. So yeah, I took football, used it to get me a free college scholarship where I studied business, supply chain, logistics. And once I got cut out of the NFL, I fell back. I had a degree, a business degree, and started working from then. So that's my start.
Now, if someone is listening to this and they are in a different kind of place where they would probably go in life, like you started with NFL, you started with football, and today you are a business owner. What are the things that you would advise to someone that is in sports that you would say, take these things because they will help you in business later on in life?
Yeah, the team camaraderie is all there. Like no matter what you do, you're gonna have to have some time a team leadership. It's gonna be a person. I know we got a lot of AI and robots, but for right now, you're gonna still have to talk to a person, whether it's a sales call you're gonna have to deal with people. So take those skills, you dealing with teammates all day, different attitudes, different mindsets, different backgrounds, and being able to, make the connections wherever you can find them. The discipline, the early mornings showing up to lift weights. Nobody wanted to go lift weights at 6 o'clock every day in the morning. I mean, it's the same with business. If you're doing high performing, you're gonna have to get up pretty early, more than likely, if you're just now starting out, especially if you're doing a startup. But take those same discipline and practice that you had doing the same thing every day. You practice more than you play the game. You practice 6 days a week. You only play a game 1 day a week. That's kind of the same mind in business. You got to do the same boring thing, whether results are coming or not, until you hit that sales call. Then you've practiced, or you got to take 500 sales call maybe to make one sale. Like it's the practice, finding I got to think of the word, but like finding the joy in the journey of it instead of trying to be waiting for the success, like and fall in love with the process of it.
Now, when you were watching NFL and when you were playing, what was the biggest difference in what you assumed it would be in the NFL and what it was when you actually got there?
The NFL, like you think, okay, this is the highest of the high level of football, but it's the professionals. Like I would say, they're not working out, lifting crazy heavy weights. Like it's not the crazy stuff you think is gonna be because they're professionals. I mean, they're doing more injury prevention exercises instead of trying to be a strongman competition. Um, you spend more time in meetings and then you go execute in practice. So most of the time it's just drilling, repetition, watching plays over and over. Out of that 8 hour day, you're probably in meetings 5 to 6 hours a day. You only go practice maybe 2 hours a day, and you're doing visual meetings, drilling, watching film all day. So it's more the mental aspect of the game because you're at the professional level of it. You should have learned. We know your body. You got the body to do any of these movements we need, but can you study these plays and really know what you're looking at out there? Is probably what I would say. It's the highest level of the high. Like so, your body is already on auto, like your physical body is already here, but they got to get your mind on autopilot of knowing what you're seeing and formations and personnel and all that kind of stuff. That's what I would say.
It feels like what you feel that repetition that you got to do in training and all that stuff is not really the way that it is, but you go to it in a different level. Well, it's injury prevention. It's a lot of meetings. It's memorizing all the plays because at that level you already are fully developed. Your
Yeah,
body knows what it needs to do.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, from that point, you started switching and you went moving towards Amazon and logistics because that's kind of your degree that you had, and you moved
Yeah.
in that direction. How was that
Yeah.
experience?
Corporate America, of course, you don't want to go back to corporate America from the NFL, but my situation, I mean, I came out through connections. I got a job. I was making like 50K a year, I think. I was working under this company, Immerse Damco, before I got to Amazon. And it was in the port of Virginia. I got to see containers coming in from, you know, off the big ships from Europe, China, wherever the containers come from. We were taking them to the port, breaking them down, unloading them, and shipping them out through America. So I was really getting to see kind of like the cargo, like how stuff enters the country, it gets broken down in the supply chain and then ends up in a Walmart or a Target or whatever big box company you could see. I really got to see that process with Maersk. And then I went to Houston and started Amazon. Amazon had been like trying to get into the game of delivering their own packages. They were tired of the post office and FedEx and all these other 3PLs failing them during peak season. Because you know, Amazon Christmas, everybody orders their last minute gifts off of there. But after failing with the post office, Amazon decided to bring that in-house, where they started building Amazon Flex, which is a program where like an Uber driver could come. I helped launch that, and the DSP program where a local trucker company could come under with the umbrella, I mean, Amazon's umbrella, partner with them and start delivering packages for them. So they brought everything in-house, and I got to launch a lot of stations through America with that. And it was really cool because you see Amazon, most people think, well, Amazon Web Services is probably their biggest revenue stream, but most people think Amazon started as a bookstore. Like, how did they go from selling books to eventually they're going to take over like the supply chain logistics industry? Like, that's next level thinking coming from a bookstore to, I mean, they got airplanes, they got shipping containers, they got 18 wheelers, they got cargo vans, they got every level of thing you need in the supply chain to deliver freight. So Amazon, before it said it's done, I'm saying this now, it's going to be one of the largest shippers in the country. Like, it's going to be bigger than FedEx. It's going to be bigger than the post office. I'm telling you, it's going to be that next level of big coming from a bookstore company. So it was cool working with a lot of tech people, seeing them. I came from like warehousing logistics, but putting the tech aspect on that, because if you've been to a warehouse, like a lot of stuff is like the first warehouse is like, oh, they still using paper and notepad and oh, I think it's 500 boxes on this truck. Like it's horrible. But Amazon like put the technology with the warehouse principles. So the sky's the limit with those guys for sure. Taught me a lot.
And in that process, you learned a lot of new stuff, and you moved on. You started your own supply chain company, and you had around 50
Yeah.
trucks. How
Yeah.
did that build up?
That came through Amazon. Actually, I worked for Amazon for 5 years all over the country. And they had this. I took a job in Atlanta with Amazon. That was my last year working. I took a job in Atlanta. It was managing the DSP program. So I would be managing the delivery drivers of the companies that we hired. And I used to talk to these guys in a meeting, tell them everything they need to do to increase their business. And they just used to tell me, like, Sidney, why aren't you doing this? I was kind of like, I don't know. I was just questioning myself, like, I don't know. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention, but I did like start having like entrepreneur. I started reading books and wanting to do my own thing. But I was like, I don't know if this is the business for me. But it took probably a few more months in convincing, and then Amazon, they announced this program like, hey, we'll pay employees, startup cost, and the fee. If you move and start your own Amazon, you can quit the company and we'll help you start up your own trucking company and partner with us. So after a while, I just jumped on that and they sent me to Buffalo, New York. And I ran out there I started in the pandemic. So I ran that from 2020 to 2024, probably delivered 7, 8 million packages, 50 trucks. I always used to have at least like 100 to 120 drivers on hand at any time. A real big operation, probably, I think we did 10 million, about 10 million in revenue in 4 years. Um, yeah, so that was what Amazon took me to. They took me to new heights. That was my first intro into entrepreneurship. And that's what I call my like college experience. That was probably, I don't remember what I learned in college, but that 4 years from 2020 to 2024, like helped me grow as a person, as a man. That was probably the greatest um, growth period that I've ever had in my life because I was doing a new journey, entrepreneurship, and I had to, although I knew the trucking industry and that, but it's still different when you're on the other side of feeding people and making sure you eat last, and it's just a different level of business.
When you were in those 4 years, when you were growing and you're learning new stuff that you've never had to do before, because you like you said, you had like 120 drivers, you had 50 trucks, you're delivering 7 to 8 million packages. All of these things are rapidly scaling. What are some of the stuff that you learned when you're rapidly scaling not to break either the company, the business, the team?
Yeah, it's the team. You have to have team. I had keeping the wrong people on your team for too long is a bad problem because it's gonna hurt you eventually. Eventually, you're gonna have to get rid of them. So I would say the first time that you see signs or notice stuff that isn't right, you need to act on it fast. I had this HR, like probably the number 2 or 3 person in my company who um they were good, but they were like, I don't know, they weren't the right fit for me.
Mhm.
And I kind of kept them too long and they kind of it was causing issues, but I eventually had to fire them because it just came to a head, like where you couldn't keep them. It was just cancer to the community. So the people is the biggest decision I would say, like if you're starting a business, like hire people, hire well, pay them what they're worth. And expect them to do great things. It's kind of like football. Like if I need a team. I can't do everything. That's another thing. I had to learn to delegate everything. I used to work probably let's say the first 2 years, I used to work 7 days a week, probably 16 hours a day with the Amazon, Monday through Sunday, 16-hour days, just up, making sure everything was good. But I burnt out eventually, so I had to start hiring and delegating all the stuff that I knew I didn't want to do anymore. So team building and delegation is probably the biggest things for sure.
When you're and it's very true when it comes to the team building. Um I learned the first time when, because I will hear a lot of people talk about motivation, and they'll talk about toxic work environment or stuff like that, and I was like, man, that's just, I've never experienced it in my company, so I couldn't relate until there was a person that I felt it for the first time, where I can see productivity going down with top performers in my company. I know that these guys are fantastic, and I start to see that they're performing less and less. And it's nothing to do with processes. It's nothing to do with changes. There's no change, but there is a person that it starts to kind of cause trouble, and you start to notice that, wow, one person can actually, with not impacting your processes, but just through the way they talk to people, how they treat people, what they do in a day-to-day with their team, it starts to like impact productivity. You start to have problems with clients. It starts affecting so many things. And when I experienced that for the first time, I was like, yes, I can understand now when someone says it doesn't work, you let that person go, they go in a different direction, and life continues. They will be happier somewhere else. And it's very true. When you're growing, that's something that I learned the hard way. But now, and I don't know about you, but I felt it was like a bad stigma if I let go someone way too fast. It was a reflection of bad hiring process, as opposed to give yourself grace. You're learning. For the first time, you're hiring 20 people in one month or 10 people in a matter of weeks. long gone. If it's not the right person, it's not the right person. Doesn't matter. We just move
Right.
forward. Um,
Absolutely.
what do you say when you went through your period of working 7 days, 16 hours, eventually burn out, you learn your lesson and you learn how to delegate? What do you say if someone comes to you and says, I want to build this multi-million dollar business. I appreciate or I value work-life balance the most.
Well, I'm gonna say in the beginning, like, I don't you gotta learn it. So it's not gonna be easy, no type of way, but eventually you should find your bearings on a year. I don't know what I'd say a year straight you plan on working there every day. But maybe a year or 2 years into it, take a step back and just realize like what am I doing that I could pay somebody to do and save me time. Yeah, it might be less to the bottom line, but it's gonna save me time and I can buy those hours back and spend it doing stuff time that I want to do stuff. So um plus like the new type of thing, like it's not even we're in a different times. Like it's not the hardest worker isn't winning. Like when somebody comes and brags about they work 80 or 100 hours a week, like it's already been studies doing like you're not doing 80 hours worth of work. Like your inputs are not because if you're working so hard, like you're especially for like let's say a corporate salary, your cap is only 150, 200K a year. Like there's no point. Like if you're gonna work that, like I would at least want those inputs to like I would want to know that I could make okay $3.5 million for 80 hours. Like I would want to work like that. That's how my mind has translated those working hours into, or I could spend 2 hours in the gym. Like I'd rather spend that on my health. Like that's how I kind of manage my hours out now. So it's just a different mindset shift.
It's a different approach that you're saying that in the first year or two, you will probably, you have to go hard and then you realize this is what I can take away. This is what I can delegate. This is what I will earn. But going into it from the beginning, there will be no work-life balance because it is this balance. You're learning new stuff. It's a
Yeah.
process.
Especially if it's your first business, like a season, probably the next ventures, like you're gonna go into them and know what you're gonna do. But the first, you got to be all in.
It's true. It's true. And there was someone that said like you only start once from scratch. It's never again from scratch. You learn so many new things. So there's no starting from scratch again. Now,
Yeah.
like you were saying, once you start something new, you're already much better at it. So you went from the NFL, you went with Amazon, you started your own company, logistics, and now you are in content creation. How did you make that switch? What was the decision? What was the moment that you were like, you know what, I found the next thing that I want to do?
Well, it came to me. It really came like as a kid. Like it's the sign. It's kind of like life, like where you think everything you don't see you see it one way until somebody else changes your perspective, and it always comes from a person that's least expecting. Like I'm least expecting. So while I was doing this trucking stuff, I had a business mailbox where all my mail and stuff would come. But it was this little kid who was a clerk, and he always used to like be like, "Why don't you record videos?" Like he'd just be like, "Why don't you record the process of you showing your truck, teach people how to do trucking?" I used to be like, "Oh, whatever, this little kid." He was in high school. I was like, "This little kid, I don't know, he little punk. He keep talking to me about making YouTube videos." But eventually, like, I don't know how many, like, he kept every time he come, he said, and I started looking at him, and then I'm looking at the world, like, cause I watch YouTube, and I'm like, "All right, kid, how much you want? Like, how much you want? Let me just hire you from this dude and come. Let's record videos and go on a crazy streak." So it came from that. A little kid named Anthony Amato. He's one of the brightest kids I know. He go to like Niagara University. I think this is senior year now, up in Niagara Falls. But we just picked up a camera and went through the process and ended up getting like 3 million views off YouTube, selling courses, hats, merch, all that kind of stuff. And the thing that led me to do this is I was doing this with Amazon. Their lawyer sent me a cease and desist letter of like, "Hey, you breached the contract. You X, Y, and Z. We're gonna punish you. We're not going to give you bonuses and all this stuff until you delete all your content off the internet. So I'm thinking like, it's easy to delete the content, but I'm looking like, but I just made this money without even trying. Like I made this money off of my videos. Like they didn't own anything. I was trying to get a brand partnership deal with Amazon, but it didn't fall into the right people. I don't know. That's another thing. But so my contract was coming up for renewal, and I was just thinking like I kind of got something. So I got a settlement from Amazon. Like I was just settled and went my way. And like I was like, if I could get this many views to my own company, sell this stuff independently through the internet, getting emails and stuff, like without knowing anything about it, I know I can do this for any entrepreneur ever. Like it's easy to me.
And that was your clear sign of what to do next, because once you notice that someone as big as Amazon noticed your views, your videos, the stuff that you were doing, and you worked inside, so you know how big this organization is. If they noticed it, that means that you're doing something the right way. And that was kind of like, okay, this is definitely something I can start showing and doing for other people. Now, what is your process? When someone wants to make content and they say, Sidney, I want to do this. I have a business. I've been doing this for 5 years. I have social media, clicks and follows. It's all like horrible. I've been paying this person. I got a freelancer. I did all these things at 5 years. It's mediocre at best. I got a TikTok with like 200 views popping from time to time. That's about it. What do we do?
Well, if you're starting from scratch, I just give them a consultation because I'm sure a lot of people have it's crazy marketers out here that just are really much scammers to say the least. So that's why I've started building up. I just show people my inside of my accounts, like honest, like, hey, this is what I do for me. But I tell them, you got to get clear. The internet it's not about random. Like you can't have your kids on here, then what you ate for dinner, and then, oh, you own a business, and this is you at the gym. No, we need to pick one in the beginning until you get to 10,000 followers. You need to talk about the same thing every day in different iterations every day. So the internet knows where to push your content. The algorithm now is not like who's popular. Is, hey, if you like red trucks, it's gonna send you all the red truck videos in America or wherever the world. Like this is how the algorithm. If you like sports, it's gonna send you all the sports videos. Have you ever been on your phone and talked about something and somebody was like, "Oh, now the ads come." That's what the algorithm does. Like you're like, is my phone listening? Yes, it is listening to you. So whatever business or something you talk about it till you're blue in the face. I would say at least a video a day, or whatever schedule you get on, pick the same schedule to release a video. If you're doing 2 videos a week, Monday and Friday, keep that schedule as long as you can do it. But super niche, not start is get known for something. You got to get known for something on the internet, and then once you get big enough, you can expand out to talking about your different buckets, your health, your gym, your food. But if you're a business creator, I would say focus on your business. Show day in the life. Screen record. I watch YouTube all the time of people screen recording how they use different AI products, and it's getting 50,000 views of them just talking head circle at the bottom in their screen, clicking through the process of something they probably do a million times, but they're teaching people something. So that's what I would say. Focus on one thing. Don't scatter shoot it. Just one topic, the thing that you know best, the thing that, like Naval says, is the thing that you can do better. Like your friends are always like, man, you do that. The one thing you can do better than anybody on earth that you know you can do better than anybody on earth. That's what you need to talk about on the internet.
Okay, and it's a clear path that you're saying. If we go from the algorithm perspective, it will show you stuff that is relevant to what you're looking for, not who's the most popular. So Mr. Beast's videos will not show to you just because he's the most popular. It will show you about the stuff that you're searching. So put aside how many followers you have, start talking about just one topic in different ways, and keep talking about that. Don't show you different parts of life, because it won't work. It will just, in the beginning, it just won't work. Now let's say we got to 10K. We got to 10,000 followers, and at this point, the business says, you know what, I'm focusing really heavily on Instagram. That's where I'm a D2C brand. I need to show the stuff, and my main focus is on Instagram. I have 10,000 followers, but I'm not getting clients. I get likes
Yeah.
and views, maybe some subscriptions here and there, but I'm not
Yeah.
getting conversions.
Yeah.
Is there anything that someone needs to do when they get to that point to increase or to start getting sales from social media?
Yeah, for sure. It's super hard to get a sale. I'm not gonna make it seem like you just can post and somebody's gonna click. Like first you have to get the brand recognition. People don't buy from who they don't trust. So if I go to your page and it's got one video and you're selling this, like I'm probably like, no, no, I don't know. Probably not. But if I go to your page and you got 1,000 videos on the same subject and I'm looking at your views, like, okay, this dude's getting like 50,000 views every video, let me join his newsletter. Like, let me see. Like, you gotta. It takes what's the sales term? It's like either what 11 to 20 forms of contact to even make a sale from somebody.
Yeah.
Something like that. But I lost my train. Let me see. But yeah, the call to action is the messaging. Once you get your branding and get recognized, like, oh, okay, I know this dude. He's gonna talk about business today. Once they get that and you keep giving enough value, then I mean, you can still have the call to actions. I would just have the call to action in the messaging, click the link. I would always, hey, join the newsletter, click the link to get a consultation. Or I would always you have to put a call to action in the messaging or the video somewhere. You have to start definitely pushing that in there.
In the messaging or in the video. Now, uh, when we're looking at this prospect, it sounds like you have a process where you're saying, look, if we start looking at the brand trust, have a lot of views, 50K or 20 or 30, whatever it is, have a lot of videos on the same subject, and you might get someone that will say, sure, I'll subscribe to the newsletter. Be realistic with, it feels like you're saying, be realistic with your expectations. That doesn't mean that someone will click and buy the beauty product or the merch or the hats or the shirts. They might start with subscribing to your newsletter and receiving more stuff like the 5 to 7 or 11 touch points. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like the top of the funnel. Don't expect that, this is not Kim Kardashian. There you go, drop a thing and then Fenty
Right.
Savage, you're just gonna click and buy. Like that was a brand that was built with like many years of
Right.
Rihanna being who she is,
Right.
selling stuff like that. So if you think of a
Absolutely.
TikTok shop, you're just trying to say like, look, you have a lot of brand trust building, and then you go into the call to action stuff. Now, if
Absolutely.
someone says, look, we do have a team, Sydney. I have a team. We have a videographer, and we got an editor, and we got someone that is writing the content, scheduling, and posting all these things. It's a small team. We're building, we're selling, but you know what? We're nowhere near what our competitors are. Like we
Yeah.
feel like we're always really in the shadow, and I think we have more innovative products, but our competitors are crushing it at every single platform. They're doing much better than us. Our prices are lower, our quality is better. Look at the reviews, we have more, but we're just not there yet. What would you
Yeah.
say to someone like that?
To that, I got two things. I would say, okay, social media networking. People forget the networking part on social media. So we need to find these big influencers or bigger accounts. We need them to repost us, whether that's we build a relationship and they do it because they like us or they pay. Like you can pay, it's easy to get paid to post a collab post, that kind of stuff. And also another good thing that the young kids that I deal with, I got a lot of streamers, clippers, pay clippers to take your content and clip it up in all these other accounts. They're not going to be your main account. They're going to clip other business accounts of you or whoever the person is, and it's going to get spread. Like, I don't know if you've seen these guys like Andrew Tate, Hormozy, Gary Vee. They have clip farms where it's little kids on the internet clipping, hey, if you get 1,000 views, I'll pay you X amount per video that gets 1,000 views. So you've got a team of people blasting your content out, getting views. So eventually, when they find you, tell them the links or whatever to put, but they're like, "Who is this? I keep seeing this dude. Like, who is this dude?" Then by the time they get to your main stuff, they would have seen you so much. Like, that's the way too. But definitely the influencer, find you a good influencer that fits with your brand, reach out, get you a budget. I would say a budget for that though. You probably want to get 10. You probably want to get 10 people in your same lane to vouch for your product. I know TikTok has it where you can pay the influencers to all post at the same time. You want to get somebody like that to post, do a uniform post to get your message out for sure.
So on TikTok, you can pay them directly, but you also were saying this new strategy that a lot of people are not fully aware of, the Clippers, where it's their accounts, and they just keep
Yeah.
clipping and showing it like I think I've seen some of those business motivation, and it's just
Yeah.
business motivation videos, and some of them were like AI with like faceless, basically. But you're
Yeah.
saying that there are a lot of accounts where they would take Alex Hermosa and they just chop it up as top 10 business advices, and they will keep featuring a bunch of people. And then you're like, oh, I see this guy, I see this face on this
Yeah.
completely different account. And then I saw the same face on a different account because they're just clipping them. And eventually you're increasing the views and awareness of the brand. One opportunity, one option. And the other one is going with influencers, get people that are in alignment with you. And on TikTok, you can pay them directly. Let's say if
Yeah.
someone is going down the road of going down the path of the influencers because they have maybe they want to build these relationships and they might be trying this for second or third time. It didn't work out. The first time they had the affiliate link, it wasn't great. We kind of broke even. We covered. We didn't burn the relationship. The guy didn't lie, but it wasn't just there. What are the things, if you had to say like top three things, if you're dealing with influencers, how do you make that a successful engagement?
Dealing with influencers,
Yes.
I go look at their page. Hey, I'm gonna need it's either the whatever package I come with, I'm gonna need four posts a month for X amount. And if they don't get, I'm gonna look at their views, let's say 100,000 views. If your link, I'm gonna give them the affiliate link or whatever I need. If this doesn't convert X percent, or if I don't get 100,000 views, you have to give me a free post. Like I'm just gonna negotiate the deal with them to make sure it comes into my favor and I get something out of my company. I can't say each specific company's gonna want something, but I would definitely base it off of views, sales, links hit. I would give them their own personal link and then track it that way. Definitely track the data, but I would just write the language up where it's, hey, if X doesn't happen, then Y doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like a good business contract for sure.
And you're saying to set it up for success the right way for both parties because you want this to be a long-term thing. You're looking at
Right.
the averages they have. So you're not gonna throw in something that it has never happened or your pinned top three ones. Like, well, yes, I get it. It's the pinned top. But if you
Yeah.
take the averages of the other stuff, because then the influencer can also agree to your terms because yes, it's favorable for both. But like, look, I can even do a little push, and then eventually I will get those numbers, and that's kind of the foundation to a proper one. Now, if you are going
Absolutely.
down the path of the Clippers, how does that engagement look like? Do you go into like a Discord and there's a bunch of them? Do you go one by one? How would that
Yeah.
be set up properly?
That it's Discord. It's a WAP. WAP has a community where you can go on WAP and search the Clippers. It's just guys are Clippers. Hey, I want to work with you. Or like WAP is probably the best platform, but it's a few other Discords where you can get them in there and try to get them on the same team. I'm sure probably Upwork or Fiverr has something where you can do that, but WAP I would say. And yeah, you get them into the contract. Hey, per every 1,000 views you get me, I'm gonna pay you X amount of dollars. Because it's probably like some little 15-year-old kid in Serbia or somewhere like foreign out there. I'm telling you, that's how it is, and they just happy to be doing it because it's easy.
Awesome. Awesome. That's
Yeah,
very, very good because at least you will start to see how the process would work and try to increase
yeah,
your conversions and trying to get a little bit more out of what you have.
yeah,
So
yeah,
something that you mentioned, because we're talking now about the clicks, views, conversions, and we're building all
yeah.
these things. But something that you mentioned off camera was build an email list. Before you go on social media, you want to build an email list. Um, why do people forget about the email list when it comes to the social media strategy?
Because they think they think it happens overnight. Like even with the social media, like these people that are big now, Mr. Beast, Gary V, Alex Hermosi, they were doing this 15 years ago when they were getting zero views. People don't understand that process because a lot of people think you can paid ads your way to the top. but paid ads isn't organic. Social media cannot be beat because even with paid ads, you're not going to know what you're doing. You still might pay and not convert once you get the leads in. They still might not click the link. Like, so organic is always the best because you're learning your way. You're iterating through the ugliness, and it makes you into an expert at the same time if you do it like organic. I forgot the question, but can you ask me again? Ask me that
Uh,
again. I lost my train of thought.
Absolutely. The what you were trying to explain is why people forget about the email list building when
Email,
they're doing
okay.
social media. And you were saying
Yeah,
organic is the best one, and they
yeah,
think it's easy.
yeah. No, the email list because it's boring. Like they don't think they want the million follower they want the million followers on Instagram instead of a million people in their email list. And I tell people working for Amazon has everybody's email in America. So if they blast out, hey, we got frisbees on sale for $8.99. How many frisbee sales do you think Amazon is going to make just from that email blast? That's the kind of the analogy I always talk to people with about Amazon. I mean, emails. I can reach you in your inbox right away on social media. I'm competing with a billion other videos to try to get into you when I could just hit your inbox. And the percent of you answering the email, a serious email from a business person, is high, pretty much. If you got good enough copy in your email to convert or make a sale or book a call or whatever you're trying to do.
So email would convert better than social. Treat social as a way to get a lot of emails and then work on your content for your email to be proper so that it converts. Like you say, if it's coming from a serious business.
Yeah.
If you had to, so let's say we are walking through a process, we're putting everything together, and we're almost at the finish line. So we got a right way of doing our social media. We have the email list, we have the mindset, the strategy, the team, everything is in place. What would be the final thing that you would advise someone in their strategy to be like, hey, look, if you work with so many clients, the ones that take it to the next level, the 1%, do this strategy when it comes to their content.
It's consistency. It's like literally a calendar. Like if you're gonna post, let's set your calendar. If you're gonna post 3 times a week, 3 times a week for the rest of your life. If you're gonna post one day a week, one day a week, it's consistency. I see people get burnt out because they overthink it. I try to get people to come with the easiest strategy that you can do, and this is the easiest strategy. Everybody has an iPhone. You can go in here, go to video, to make it go to 4K, 60 frames per second, change the settings, and now you have the you have the exact quality of camera. Get you some good lights. It's gonna look official video. Like it's gonna look. People worry about the quality. It's the message that we want to hear. How is the message? You could shoot this on a BlackBerry. If the message is good enough, it's gonna go viral. I promise you. I think about Kanye had a Super Bowl commercial shot on his iPhone that led to 20 million in sales. So don't overthink this at all. Everybody, if you have a phone, you're the ultimate content creator. You have all the tools you need. You don't need this $3,000 Sony. You need a clear message and a camera phone. That's all you need for this process.
It's the consistency, and we've heard it many times. We just don't do it. We've heard it many times. It's the consistency that
Yeah.
everybody does it, and the barrier to entry is so low. You have the phone, change the settings, and you have the same setup of quality that a YouTuber with like 10, 15 years or a brand with 10, 15 years that would have. It will be you're there. The message is important and the
Yeah.
consistency is important. Now,
Yeah.
Sidney, if someone was listening to this whole thing and was like, man, this guy knows what he's talking about, how did they get a hold of you to work with you?
I got my website, thepeopleversecontent.com. You can schedule. I think it's a scheduling and booking, sign up for a newsletter. I think my email address is on there. Sidney at thepeopleversecontent.com. Just shoot me an email. Social media, Sidney P. Tarver. DM me something. Just reach out to me and find me. I mean, I'm not hard to find, but I just want to make it simple. Like another thing I was thinking about in the earlier, like if you're finding these guys that are charging you more, let's say somebody wants to charge you I'm not here to gatekeep. I tell everybody the software, like everything that I use. But if you got somebody that's pushing ad spend on you with not a big following, be wary of that because you're not like you don't have the message dialed in good enough, or you don't know if you can close sales to even convert that. So I would say, and also don't, if you're paying them, make sure you're pay them less than the ad spend that you're going to spend every month is another thing that I would tell you, to some of these gurus or some of these guys out here, just from my experience. Like, because why does your retainer fee cost more than the ad spend that I'm spending? Like, it's just think about some of these things where it's a tricky world in the internet, but organic social media, learn it yourself, be consistent, you'll find your way, and trust yourself is all I can say.
I appreciate for that final advice. I think it is important. I've heard those pitches that like, oh, 10% of ad spend, 15% of ad, like based on what? Like how will that correlate? Like how is that correlating? If I increase the budget, how does that correlate with I can increase the budget on 2 or 3 campaigns and I can decrease the budget on 15 that I can ask you to kind of keep making these campaigns and all this creative. We have so much to try. Like how does that correlate? Do you just attach it to the ad spend? I always found it as a puzzle. I wasn't clear like what the price was.
Yeah, yeah, it's tricky because I mean, it's coming from a like, we literally came from what, radio, newspaper, television to me and you can go run an ad in the back of an account right now. Like, is the times is crazy we're in now. So it's a lot of, snake oil salesmen out here. So just beware in the digital age, just take your time with it too, and go to YouTube University as well.
Amazing, fantastic, Sydney. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you for sharing all these things with us. I appreciate it. I learned a lot of stuff. I did learn a lot of stuff, and especially when you're talking about how easy it is to start doing it. It's just you can set the settings on your phone, and you are not different than anybody else that is doing it for many years. Focus on the message. Don't focus that much on your quality. Focus on the message. That is what will deliver. Appreciate your time, Sydney, today, and wish you all the best.
No, thank you for having me. And you got to clip these episodes. Get a clipper to get all your old podcasts, clip them up, and just start running them as YouTube Reels, TikTok Reels, and Shorts everywhere.
We'll do, Sydney. Thank you.
For sure. Take care.
And that's all for today.